Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dustin Peterson, and I am the OklahomaCityAttorney.com. We talked a little bit about joint tenancy and home ownership as the advantages it brings to a marriage and the possible consequences of equitably dividing that property or distributing that property in divorce. Going along those lines today, I want to talk a little bit about some other situations that can arise around joint tenancy. And one of those things might be if the couple decides to place the home in a trust. So let's say, for example, that the married couple has joint tenancy home ownership and they place that home in a trust. And the trust belongs to the wife. So, for example, me and my wife own our house in joint tenancy. What if I were to place we place the house in my wife's trust, and thereafter only my wife uses and controls the house? Even though, generally speaking, a property will retain the classification it had at the time of conveyance into a trust, this situation might be enough for the courts to presume that I have now gifted the property to my wife exclusively. And now, if we were to divorce, I may not be able to get an equitable share of that house. Another situation might come up if, say my wife had property in a trust already, and we were married, and we decide to form a new trust. Now, without forming a new deed to get joint tenancy on a house, let's say we decide to form another trust, husband and wife revocable trust, and we place my wife's house into the new husband and wife revocable trust. Well, now, even though that was my wife's separate property, and even though we did not create a joint tenancy, the courts might say it's just as good as joint tenancy because of the way we treated this property. We put it into our trust. Thereby, my wife may not be able to retain the separate nature of that property should we divorce, and I might get my equitable share in distribution. These are just some things to consider in dealing with joint tenancy and trust. And if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out to me at 405-888-5400 or look me up online at theoklahomacityattorney.com.